Well, talking of clowns, judges on an employment tribunal in the UK ruled today that it's sexual harassment to mock a man for being bald. Electrician Tony Finn claimed an unfair dismissal from his job because he said he was subjected to discrimination for having no hair. Specifically, his factory supervisor, Jamie King, called him a bald bleep. Incredibly, he won the case because the judges determined that hair loss is much more prevalent amongst men than women, so using it to describe someone is a form of discrimination. They said, in our judgment, there is a connection between the word bald on the one hand and the protected characteristic of sex on the other. What are they talking about? Even more absurdly, the judges compared being mocked about baldness to remarking on the size of a woman's cleavage, raising a previous case where a man was found to have sexually harassed a woman by commenting on the size of her breasts. You might be unsurprised to hear that all three judges on this panel who reached this decision are themselves bald. You might also be unsurprised to hear that I think their judgment is hair-wrenchingly ridiculous. There's nothing sexual about being bald. No bald man's ever been wolf-whistled on the street or objectified in the office by a leering woman saying, "That's a hot, shiny dome you got there, darling." Being bald is just a fact of life, not a topic for sexual harassment lawsuits. Although perhaps I have to consider I may have got all this wrong. Because when I sent this story to my family WhatsApp group this morning, my sister pointed out that our follically challenged brother Jeremy has always claimed that his bald head is a solar panel, his words, for a sex machine. That's quite correct, he replied to the group chat, and why I need to be kept out of the sun. Incidentally, my brother Jeremy retired as a British Army colonel today after 37 years of outstanding service to his country, including numerous war zones. I got the hair, but he got the balls. Calvin Klein has launched a campaign to, as it puts it, celebrate the diversity of families. The ad went viral on social media. It shows Roberto Bette, a pregnant trans man who's about to give birth to her baby Noah, along with her partner Erica Fio, who's a transgender woman. Calvin Klein said, today, in support of women and mothers around the world, we highlight the reality of new families. I don't know what to think about this. I don't have a single anti-trans sentiment in my body. I believe in fairness and equality for all trans people. For Calvin Klein to put that out, to say they're supporting women and mothers, really? Is that what you're doing when you're doing that? Or are you potentially exposing the trans community to unnecessary mockery? I'm not sure how many trans people will look at that campaign and think that is good for the transgender cause or the transgender community. And that's all I want companies like Calvin Klein, when they do this virtue signaling, to think about. Think about what you're doing and the impact it may have. Because I watched what happened when that went on social media and immediately lit up with just widespread mockery. And if that's what you want to achieve, fine. I don't think it is. And that's why I think these things are problematic. That's not really about women and mothers, is it? It's a very tough time right now for many millions of people around the world as rocketing inflation drives the cost of food, fuel and bills through the roof. And as always when this happens, the heaviest burden falls on those with the smallest resources, the poorest. Many get so desperate they rely on charitable food banks for donations to make sure that they and their families simply have enough to eat. They don't do this because they want to, they do it because they have to. And the double whammy of an economy-wrecking pandemic and now ruinous inflation has led to a massive increase in demand for those food banks from America to the UK. These are serious times demanding serious answers from serious people. Instead, we have politicians like British Conservative MP Lee Anderson, who reckons he's got it all worked out.
I think you'll see firsthand that there's not this massive use for food banks in this country. We've got generation after generation who cannot cook properly, they can't cook a meal from scratch, they cannot budget. The challenge is there.
Of course. How stupid of us. There was me thinking people go to food banks because they're literally penniless and have no option, but no, apparently it's because they don't know how to cook or budget properly. They should simply, as he suggests, be shown how to knock out a nutritious meal. He reckons for 30 pence. Now, in the interest of fairness, I decided to fact-check Lee Anderson with a bit of consumer research. I discovered he might actually been onto something. A pint of milk, 5 pence. A sliced white loaf of bread, 10 pence. Packet of crisps, 3 pence. 6 eggs, 11 pence. Then I remembered these were the prices in 1972, 50 years ago. Dig a little deeper into Lee Anderson's political career and you'll soon discover why he might not understand what it's like to be poor. His salary of more than £84,000 is more than double the UK average. He also claimed £219,000 in business costs from 2020 to 2021. And that's £16,000 more than the average for any MP. Life's a lot easier when the taxpayer's stumping up for it, isn't it, Mr. Anderson? An explosive and shocking video of Broadway legend Patti LuPone berating a theatre-goer has emerged. The two-time Tony Award winner is seen yelling furiously at a woman in the audience. So what was her crime? Heckling? Filming the performance on her smartphone? Chatting to friends maybe during a tense monologue? Oh no, far more serious. She wasn't wearing her mask properly.
Put your mask over your nose. That's why you're in the theater. That is the rule. If you don't want to follow the rule, get the out. That's serious. Who do you think you are if you do not respect the people that are sitting around you? Salary. You pay my salary.
Oh, the indignant fury. But hang on, one sec. Can we just go back on that again?
Who do you think you are if you do not respect the people that are sitting around you?
How weird. I think I've spotted a bit of a problem with her indignant rage. And it's called barefaced, literally, hypocrisy. Foaming at the mouth in righteous fury at a woman who's surrounded by people and maskless, while you yourself are also surrounded by people and maskless. Nothing screams absurd liberal COVID rule hypocrisy than an unmasked singer spitting abuse and particles of God knows what at a theatre-goer who is doing exactly the same thing that she is doing in that exact same moment. It's not just delusional divas belting out mask-wearing virtue signals to the normal people while singing a different tune themselves. We see this hypocrisy time and again at the moment. Here's Hillary Clinton on Twitter. Couldn't be clearer. And here's Hillary Clinton on the red carpet at the Met Gala last week. No mask for Hillary, just for the poor flunky who's puffing her dress. It's one rule for the flunkies, one for the elite. Well, my memo to the mask mafia is simple. I see you and I see your faces.